Oh, hello there. I didn't see you. How's it going? My name is Brett. It is episode 958 of Pop Culture Crisis. Welcome back to all of you, and I guess welcome back to myself. I was out of town over the weekend. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, crisis actors. It's Mary. I guess Brett was just feeling a little bit quirked up today doing that.
I am a quirk chungus.
Yeah, improv intro there. So, due to some unexpected circumstances yesterday, unfortunately, we were not able to deliver you the nourishing content you deserve. But fortunately, we are back once again from the weekend, and Brett is back in town, which is a huge relief. I hope that you all survived yesterday without the show.
They seem to make it.
I could sense some anger in the chat, actually. I saw somebody saying, it seems like they tried to make Mary look bad in the thumbnails.
I took particular offense to that because we do screenshots every single day, and then I scroll through. So basically, you don't take a photo, you just pose awkwardly for a couple of seconds, and then I scroll through to for Mary, and I say, "This,
I
is
choose
this good?"
it.
She chooses
I choose the still.
Yep.
So I didn't think it looked bad at all. I never choose a still of myself that I think looks bad. Why would I do that?
There have even been days where she's like, "We got to redo it."
Thanks for just letting me know your opinion about how my face looks. We have a 20 from Shane H. Wilder. Happy Munder Tuesday, Brett and Mary. Glad to have y'all back. I hope everyone's weekend went well. My parish had our fall festival to coincide with the Feast of St. Albert. Lots of food, fun, and my priest taking a pie to the face. Oh.
Is that okay?
I hope that was coordinated and planned.
Yeah, it'd be bad otherwise.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. I didn't enjoy my day yesterday at all, so I was suffering with the rest of you.
Yeah, and I was driving 8 hours, so
everyone
I wasn't
was having
a
bad time.
Yeah.
So don't feel like you missed out on anything.
So since you didn't miss out on anything, what you should do right now before you miss out is hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. If you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already, please and thank you. Remember to share the episode out with your friends, your family, your loved ones, people in your life that you both love and hate. The more people that you share the show with, the faster this channel can grow. So thank you guys so much for that. We really, really appreciate it. Also, if you didn't get a chance over the weekend, I posted a brand new episode of the PCC Weekend Update. It's about an hour and a half long, get into a lot of fun stuff in there. So please go ahead and check it out. Also, coffee.
Yes.
But wait, but first.
But first, coffee. But first, Mary's Ghost Blend, which is currently available at castbrew.com, my s'mores flavored coffee. And you can use code TURKEY20 for 20% off. Thanksgiving.
I was gonna pull it up on here, but the tab is gone, and I got in today.
You were struggling today.
I got in today, and everything was just a little bit. I do want to, but before we get started, guys, I want to thank Alex for sitting in for me.
Of course.
It's never easy to kind of enter another person's workstation and have to sit here and pretend like this is your setup because and I'm sure that given how fragmented my brain is, I'm sure however I run this isn't the way a normal, well-adjusted person would run this. So big thank you to Alex for sitting in for me on Friday. Big thanks to Libby as well for being here as a guest.
But as hard as that was for them, it's always harder for Brett to come back and assess the damage after it's over. If it's any consolation, though, Brett, I saw Glenn Powell do the hosting for SNL this past weekend. I clicked on his monologue video, and I'm not kidding. I was actually struck by the resemblance.
No, really?
I'm not. Ever since Zachary Levi pointed it out, I haven't been able to, I can't unsee it. Weirdly,
I really missed out on the opportunity when everybody was posting their doppelgangers because Josie posted her and Sydney Sweeney with the real recognized real thing. I really should have posted that. But let's face it, if I post that, there had been a bunch of people that are like, oh, presumptuous, huh?
But it is true. I wouldn't just sit here and lie to you that telling you that you look like Glenn Powell. It is a thing.
I'm going to start walking around with a picture of Glenn Powell just so I can hold it up like that.
You don't look quite as capybara-like.
That's good. That's good. His eyes are close together like mine.
There's that, and the shape of your mouths are
perfect.
Very similar.
That's perfect. My favorite part about the eyes being close together is, somebody made a comment about you there. What they tend to say to me is why is he cross-eyed?
I don't think you are. I think you're not cross-eyed. You just have glasses that maybe make it look like that. I don't know.
So guys, again, hit the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel. We got a bunch of stuff to get into today. Of course, number one being that there's going to be a Labubu SLOP movie that everybody is going to go watch. Your kids are going to go watch it. They're going to get possessed by demons, and then everything's going to fall apart in society.
Because they're actually replicas of the demon Pazuzu. No, I'm just kidding.
We could have talked about this because there was just some annoying Hollywood person last week was like, and I say annoying because they're actually saying the right thing, but only half right when they said like,
oh, is it about Barbie?
Yes.
I was literally going to bring that up. So
okay.
no spoilers.
Okay, no spoilers.
No
We'll
spoilers.
save it. Okay.
We'll discuss that
Our
too.
brains, we're connected there. So we're going to talk about that. Also, Justin Baldoni is back in the news. It feels like 2024 all over again. Rainn Wilson came to his defense. It's a whole thing. Rainn Wilson hasn't really been relevant since a long time ago.
I'm just like, why is Rainn Wilson like suddenly involved? Like, what's going on here?
Probably wants to start dramatic acting
again. I will
again.
Explain. It's a very weird story.
So we're gonna talk about it. Also, Mary has found arbitrary dating rules that Zoomers are imposing upon themselves that's making life miserable for them and everybody else. Yeah,
they are sabotaging their own dating lives and choosing to be miserable and alone because of these rules.
Yeah, I think I'm also, somebody points out, I think I'm older than Glenn Powell, so that means Glenn Powell looks like me.
Wait, really?
I think he's 38.
I thought that you guys were like...
I think he's 38. Somebody
I mean,
can double check.
At a certain point, it's like, who's counting? No offense, but...
I'm counting. I'm counting.
He is 37. He was born in 1988.
He looks like me, guys.
He just turned 37 last month.
Okay. All right. If you're ready to go, we can get started. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go for it.
So guys, Michelle Obama is on a generational run right now. She is currently doing a bunch of press for this new book she's publishing called The Look. And you might be able to guess, it's all about her looks. She cannot stop talking about her appearance, her hair, her makeup, her wardrobe, and what it all means for society. Because of course, it means so much.
I mean, what I took from these clips when I saw them the first time is just that, like, life is hard. That's what she thinks.
It's
life is
so hard to be not only a woman, but also a black woman, but also the former first lady. And it's just so hard to be Michelle Obama. And this book is a celebration of style from the moment she entered the public eye during her husband's Senate campaign through her first time as the black first lady, and today as one of this country's most influential figures. Michelle Obama shares how she uses the beauty and intrigue of fashion to draw attention to her message. No idea what that message is because she cannot shut up about her clothes and her hair and her makeup.
Is it the school lunches are important?
Maybe it's all about school lunches. And then she's also pairing the book with a companion podcast. She already has a podcast actually with her brother called In My Opinion, or IMO. But this is a limited series companionate with the book of The Look, premiering weekly. They say through candid, intimate conversations with creative minds behind her hair, makeup, and wardrobe, along with fashion insiders and influential voices, Michelle reveals how she and her team transformed the scrutiny of her public image into a celebration of self-expression, inclusion, and impact.
Has she done collaborations with Meghan Markle? They should get on that.
They really should.
They should get on that.
Yeah, if the IMO podcast were hosted by Meghan Markle and Michelle,
we could get like those two, Amber Heard. Who else does everybody hate? So we could get Michelle Obama, Amber Heard, Meghan Markle.
Look,
who? I need three more because I want to create the sinister six of annoying people. It can't be just women. There's got to be some guys in there too. I'm equal opportunity here.
I mean, women who are famous because of their husbands, basically, is the category, right?
Just annoying.
Because Amber Heard doesn't fall into that. Well, I think it should be like women who are famous only because their husbands are famous and they're just like riding the coattails.
Mackenzie Bezos donating all that money to charity.
Maybe Lauren Sanchez could be a part of it. I think Lauren Sanchez is actually like, she seems pretty charming and friendly.
Yeah.
And down to earth, relatively. But yeah, this series, I say this as someone who actually does believe that fashion is or can be political. This sounds ridiculous. It celebrates how Michelle's authenticity and legacy of representation not only defined her approach to style, but continue shaping the social and political conversation about who gets to be seen and how.
What does that even mean?
Nothing.
Like,
nothing. It means nothing.
It's like that. There was an article last week, guys, about the racial and gender dynamics around podcasts and how it was overwhelmingly white and male.
Yeah.
But the thing is podcasting has perhaps the lowest barrier to entry. They let me in. So either that says something about being a white male.
Who's they, though?
Who is they, though? Either that says something about being a white male, or it just says something about the low barrier to entry for everybody, because anybody can do it.
Yeah, you would think that women would have more podcasts because they like talking much more than men like talking.
Okay, so I think about this a lot, which is that, okay, I noticed this because me and you, we tend to care about very different things. When like even the Michelle Obama thing, I thought about covering like in a solo video, but it was going to be strictly the stuff that you had at the end here, which was about her talking about how she wouldn't run for president because like apparently we don't deserve it as a country because we're not acting like adults. But the point is that women tend to enjoy talking about people and social interactions. Men like to talk about ideas or
the macro subjects.
Like when I maybe this is just me internally, but when it starts to get down to like interpersonal details, my brain just shuts off. Like and I don't mean that in like a mean way. I mean like my brain can't form cohesive thoughts around it because first of all, I wasn't there, so I don't know. Like when you talk about like the large scale idea of Disney, you can go by Bob Iger's comments and like the investor reports, box office returns and things like that. But when you're talking about like we're going to talk about like Justin Baldoni today, like a lot of it is just like somebody said that this person says something. And I think a lot of men tend to tune out to that. But there's like, if we're talking about just people, there's literally endless stuff you could talk about that I'm sure plenty of women would want to do. So you'd think there would be more women in the space.
Which I find fascinating personally. I agree with you though that the reason for the disparity of the overrepresentation of white males in podcasting is literally just because you're less likely to get platformed by a media conglomerate if you're a straight white male. Therefore, the form that has a lower barrier to entry is where white men will go to share their thoughts and meritocratically they will have a good response. Anyway, so this first clip is from Michelle Obama's appearance on the Jamie Kern Lima show, which is hosted by
Jamie Kern Lima?
You will know who it is by her voice. She is the billionaire founder of It Cosmetics, a makeup line.
Okay, so she's big.
And she actually interviewed Meghan Markle just a matter of a couple of months ago.
Yes.
You will recognize her obnoxious voice in this interview. So let's take a look at Michelle Obama saying that it's not a luxury to have a hair and makeup team.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really have that choice as first lady. Of course. Right.
Yeah.
Every day, every time I was up, as we called it, you know, I was up for the public. And the days were long.
It sounds fake.
So as you mentioned, to save time.
Yes.
You know, I know having a glam team, a trifecta, it feels like a luxury, but it was a time necessity. There's absolutely no way that I would be able to.
Is there a two shot of these two people? Were they even in the same room?
They were.
Is this a Meghan Markle situation where they just pipe in her voice?
Do my hair and makeup and have clothes ready that fit, you know, because rare is the woman that can live off the rack.
That's literally most women, right? They have to live off the rack.
I don't know, actually. Personally, I cannot live off the rack.
Okay.
If we're talking about clothes, fine, I'll put in my 2 cents. I do not live off the rack. I get everything I own tailored to be smaller.
Okay.
Michelle Obama, however, is 5'11" and quite built. So I assume she actually is telling the truth there. But yeah, it's apparently not a luxury to have employees that do your hair and makeup for you and provide all of your clothes for you.
It's like she's in this game of chicken against people who are like still willing to believe that this is a person who represents the everyman or every woman in this case, right? Like that's like the most obnoxious thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
And like she's acting like it, okay, she's saying it's a time necessity because if she were responsible for all these things, it couldn't possibly get done. She was so busy with all of her duties as the first lady that she needed to have these employees do these things for her. That makes total sense. But also, if you wanted to just kind of schlub around in no makeup and wearing shitty clothes during your time as the first lady, you definitely could have. You just chose not to because
I don't know if look.
the position calls for a certain level of elevated looks.
I imagine that when you sign on to a campaign, to something like this, you make a deal with your campaign manager and with the donors that have a lot of say over what your life is going to be like when you leave office. Like, they're like, look, we expect you to conform to specific guidelines of propriety, not just because it's what the American people deserve to see somebody who's at least put together, but because we're putting our money and our time behind you. Therefore, you need to conform to what we believe is acceptable.
It's bizarre to me because look at all of these male politicians. They have hair, makeup, and wardrobe teams too. It's not just the women.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I remember Hillary Clinton complaining about the same thing, how she had to wear makeup when she was campaigning. Whatever.
Cry me a river.
Yeah, cry me a river. In this second clip, Michelle Obama is telling everyone about how beautiful she is and how if they don't realize that she's beautiful, they need to be educated about her beauty.
And we have to start educating people about all kinds of beauty.
Yes.
And our beauty is so powerful and so unique that it is worthy of the conversation, and it's worthy of demanding the respect that we're owed for who we are and what we offer to the world.
What?
You have to demand that people
recognize
your beauty. If you're beautiful, obviously.
I'm gonna steel man and say that first of all, she's not talking about herself. She's talking, I'm guessing, large scale about black women.
Yes.
Okay.
She said black female beauty is so powerful.
This is academic speak, and it's something that gets. I'll give her this. This is something that gets said on podcasts and in press releases, and even if true, doesn't comport with the reality of the average everyday person who just doesn't care what you look like. They just want to make a living and get by. And you and your husband made a lot of money off the backs of the American people through book deals after your presidency and investment and your
Speaker
Netflix deal and your speaker fees. Those are exorbitant. So I don't know what you want anybody to do with this. It's not going to work. Like these types of speeches were very, very powerful to people like a decade ago or longer, honestly. When this type of academic flowery language got dropped into the culture, and now people are just like, I don't know what any of that means. I'm going to go outside and do something that's not look at you.
I just think we're avoiding the obvious truth, which is that some people are beautiful and some people are not beautiful.
Yes, the subjective nature of what she says. It's you kind of something you said struck me a long time ago when you're like, basically no woman is allowed to dislike anything because women don't like it when women dislike stuff.
Anything, really.
Like you're not allowed.
What I said is that as I've continued posting more regularly to grow my audience on Instagram specifically, I have made very, very little progress growing the percentage of my following that is female. I have made some progress, though, as I've been tracking it. But the reason for that is because women just don't like when they hear someone criticizing an idea, a product, another person. Literally any form of critique is repulsive to women. Link Lauren, friend of the show, responded to this clip saying, does she exclusively talk about her hair and clothes? What a sad existence. She is very insecure. She has a huge platform as a former first lady, and this is all she does with it. And it does come off as incredibly shallow and superficial.
To be fair, like, I guess she doesn't have to, like, have a focus. Like, what would benefit? Like, what did she go to college for? Like, she went to college,
that's a good
right?
question. She went to Harvard, yes, as a DEI student.
What did Michelle Obama go to school for? We're going to help her right now.
Let's see.
We're going to help her right now.
She did go to Harvard because of DEI programs.
Okay.
Probably proof that those things shouldn't exist. Oh, okay. She did not. Okay, let me see.
She didn't graduate?
So she attended Harvard Law School for her graduate studies after her bachelor, but she got the undergraduate degree in sociology
Okay.
with a minor in African American studies.
Okay. Well, I guess then it's kind of on brand
At
for her.
Princeton.
But go into depth on the topic of sociology as it relates to.
This is it.
Yeah, I know, but
This is what it looks like when PhDs talk about sociology. They talk about shit like this.
But the thing is, you have to push it out past your own experience and talk about larger scale concepts beyond just racial and gender demographics.
It used to be that way.
Or the other thing that she could do, which would really benefit her, is take what she's learned and apply it to things that are far left field from what she's into. Like, she's got to like something else, right? She's got to like sports. Like, does she like football? Like, do some deep dives into like what it means to be a professional athlete and the cultural markers of like literally there's anything. You're the old president's like wife. You could call up anybody and get an answer.
I would bet that she at least took one full course in college about Black women's hair.
Yeah.
In this next clip, she is talking to Diana Ross's Nepo daughter, and she is saying white people trap Black people in hair standards that harm their capability to work. While wearing a weave, by the way.
Let me explain something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head now.
There isn't any context. There is exactly zero context in polite society. Not the internet here where we are. We're on X. But in polite society, where a white person would ever expect to be able to go up on stage and say,
Let me explain something to Black people. Like, you would never say that.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because it's weird. And it's actually creepy.
It's belittling.
It's belittling and it's creepy. You shouldn't do it. And thus, you should not either.
Well, let's listen and learn from this intelligent Black woman today.
Naturally in a curly pattern. So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't
Bro, you could just like not be trapped. Like, and just not do it.
swim. And we run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for y'all.
Okay, I'll actually give you an example of where that's actually true. First of all, if you're on your own in your own person, you don't have to do anything. You can do whatever the hell you want. And this is actually a discussion that comes up in Hollywood a lot. But there was an actress named Shalita Grant. She's still an actress. She was on NCIS New Orleans. And she ended up leaving the show because they wanted her to have straight hair. Like, she would have to wear her hair pulled back, if not straight. And it was damaging to her scalp because it was pulled so tight.
Okay.
Right? And you know what she did? She just left the show eventually because it was like damaging her hair. But the thing is, in that industry, there has been a long period of time where they would not have allowed Black women to wear their hair the way it normally looks. They would always straighten it. That was absolutely true.
I just want to point out, it's not intrinsically a racial issue.
No,
because white and non-Black actresses or anyone in the public eye is they have rules enforced on their appearance the same exact way. In fact, Ariana Grande had to do, like, she had to dye her hair red when she was on Nickelodeon and it damaged her hair. Now she's in Wicked, where she has to bleach her hair blonde for years on end. It's obviously damaging to her hair. That's just what you do when you are a performer. You have to follow the guidelines of the people that are in charge of the show. It's not that big of a deal. And it just falls flat for her to say this when she's on stage wearing, it looks like she's wearing a weave.
And Hugh Jackman.
You don't have to do that.
Hugh Jackman gets like rehired to play Wolverine again, and he wants to eat tacos and be fat, but he has to do steroids and get lean and dried out so that they can take shots of his abs. And he's like, I'm trapped in your beauty standards.
Again, it's politicians, it's actors, anyone in the public eye, male or female, white or Black.
John Cena, very famously, once he retired from wrestling and became acting full time, it got very noticeable that he had a big bald spot in the back. And you know what he did? He dealt with it for a couple of years. They shot around it, and then he got his hair transplant. like a normal, but he didn't say like, you know what, I'm stuck in your white Western beauty standards for what a male's hair should be. No, he knew that it would benefit his market share if he's going to be an action star to not have a bald spot. The only person who can do that is Jason Statham.
This is like if I sat here on this podcast and blamed all of you for the money that I spend on bleaching my hair to argue that
She's told me how much it costs. It's insane.
That it's you guys forcing me to bleach my hair, actually, and it's damaging and cruel. Anyway, let's finish up this this clip here.
It is exhausting, and it's so expensive, and it takes up so much time. Braids are for y'all so we can work harder and focus on the work. So why do we need an act, an act of law to tell white folks to get out of our hair? Don't tell me how to wear my hair. Don't wonder about it. Don't touch it. Just don't. It just...
Michelle Obama is like stuck mentally in 2018.
Yeah.
Clearly.
She is.
Does not know where the tides are shifting. And this next clip, she claims that that black people growing up had to dress a certain way so that white people wouldn't murder them.
Exposure to the high end of Chicago and to access those places and not be accused of stealing. You realize very early on that you better let them hear you talk or, you know, come in with the right LaSac case or else you would be watched. And, you know, so I think I learned then that how you show up, especially when it comes to white folks looking at young black kids, that how you present can sometimes save your life. So yeah, I think I was learning that all throughout my...
Just don't wear blue in a blood area. And
she didn't bring that part up.
Yeah.
You know, after all of this complaining and whining and superficiality displayed by Michelle Obama, I think any chance that she had of gaining popular support as a political candidate has been tanked. I don't know if you would agree with that, Brett, but she also clarified that she has no plans of running for office in the future because
I feel like
she needs the country to grow up.
For the last couple of elections, there's always that idea. We don't even have to watch that clip. She basically is like, you guys are immature. This country doesn't deserve me.
They proved that they're not ready for a black woman in office with the last election.
I don't think that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, people have been like, okay, she was the break glass in case of emergency candidate. But I don't think that that's what it is anymore. We're in a very different place culturally. We're in a very different place. And there's nothing that she said that is in any way presidential. When Barack Obama got elected, he got elected with a clean slate, for the most part, a clean slate with the American people. And the race baiting came later. So, you know.
Right.
Before we move on, I am going to just Ryan, I remember this Ryan Long bit.
Myself to never judge a book by its cover. Are you a rapper?
What's that?
Are you that rapper? Guess was as good as any other. People judging others based on their appearance is one of the greatest plagues on our society, and that's why I've trained myself to never judge anyone ever under any circumstance. Maybe a fitness instructor, a jockey perhaps, could be a cafeteria lady, I guess, a Walmart greeter, maybe a preschool teacher. If I'm walking through a dark alley and I happen to see an old lady with a walker or a gang member holding a firearm, I proceed with the exact same caution, which is 0. Society wants you to think that this is somehow scarier than this. I'm not sure if we need to be afraid of these people or not. Just because something might be less than 1% likely to happen, I can't take the chance that I might think the wrong thing for a moment. We don't have any information, but maybe he's a bartender at a gay club, just as likely as any other options. Like a basketball player, potentially. Okay, well, this guy's a piece of shit, obviously, but you know what I mean. You know, the human brain is flawed. It tries to take,
Okay, you get the point.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, so the news broke late last week that Red Scare podcast host Dasha Nekrasova has been dropped by her Hollywood talent agency, as well as a film that she was slated to be cast in called Iconoclast. And the reason for that is a controversial guest that they featured on the show whose name rhymes with Chick Schwentez. And the news broke in Variety. They, in the headline, put, Gersh drops Succession actress Dasha Nekrasova after podcast with white nationalist Nick Fuentes. So this actually turned out to be the result of a years-long campaign by one individual man who had a hatred for Dasha and her co-host Anna Kachian.
If this guy,
a whole group of guests that they've had on their show over the years.
you'll understand what I'm talking about when we get through this. Like, if it wasn't for the absolute bitch-made nature of his complaining, I would actually have to respect his the dedication this man had to just not letting this one person live their life.
Yeah, so her talent agency, Gersh, had to cave to the pressure eventually because this guy was going public with it on his Instagram. His name is, let's see here, Jonathan Daniel Brown. His campaign against Dasha began in August of 2023, according to The Hollywood Reporter.
2 years ago now.
He once was an actor and had some success, and most notably had a role in the 2012 comedy Project X, but finding himself disillusioned with the acting world, transitioned to producing, most recently with the comedy horror titled F My Son. Okay. But Brown was not in a laughing mood when he wrote his email to Gersh, an agency to which he has no formal ties. He had been tracking one of their clients, Dasha, for some time.
What are you in the CIA? Why are you tracking anybody?
Like, get a life,
weirdo.
dude. So here they say, launched in 2018 with Anna Kachian, a Moscow-born cultural critic who immigrated to the U.S. in 1990. The podcast originally was associated with the socialist ideals of the Bernie Sanders-loving dirtbag left, as the movement called itself. But over the years, it evolved into a reaction against liberal wokeism and found itself gravitating to figures on the far right. And they have had mostly right-wing guests in recent years. They both, I believe, voted for Trump in the last election.
I remember you telling me about this podcast, and I was just like, wow, that sounds like something I would never listen to.
They have a mostly female audience, if I had to guess, and it's mostly like half of their episodes are behind a paywall. So people at Gersh and in Hollywood generally did not know that Nick Fuentes was on their podcast for at least a month afterwards.
Did you see the images of, like, from the Hollywood Reporter about, like, their podcast roundtable?
No.
So they did, I was just laughing at they used the word wokeism in there. Mm-hmm. They did this, like, podcast roundtable with, like, 6 of the biggest podcasters, like Dax Shepard.
Oh, yeah.
And Ben Shapiro's there. And there's this group photo. And Ben Shapiro's just kind of
he's like standing off to the
right.
side.
Like it's all in the body language. Like they're all leaning this way and Ben's like leaning that way. It's I just thought it was funny because it was in the Hollywood Reporter, so Ben was there.
Brown took notice and grew increasingly dismayed at who Red Scare invited on the podcast. In that first email to Gersh, he pointed out their client hosted a white nationalist guest who uses the pseudonym Bronze Age Pervert.
I remember you talking about this with Dane.
Yes.
I don't know who that is.
He used to be an anonymous shit poster.
Okay.
He still goes by the pseudonym, but everyone knows who he is now. He is an academic, actually, and it's funny that they say he was chronicled for his neo-Nazi beliefs because I believe he's actually Jewish in real life.
What's his bag then? Like, what does he focus on?
He wrote a book called Bronze Age Mindset.
I remember that.
Several years back, which was popular amongst the alt-right crowd online. I never read it, so I don't know the contents of the book, but they say in this episode, in this email that Jonathan wrote, in the episode I've linked, Dasha and Bronze Age Pervert discuss, quote unquote, he literally puts this in quote, black crime. After that, Bronze Age Pervert refers to the city of Chicago as Chicago and Indians as Pajeets, calls mixed race Americans mulattoes and chimps, and makes various horrible comments about Africa, calls Barack Obama gay and uses the slur Obongo, praises white nationalists Richard Hanania and Steve Saylor, uses a number of slurs for Jews, and even defends Hitler. Other white supremacists and fascists who have recently appeared on the show include Sandy Hook denier Alex Jones.
How can he be a fascist? He's not even in the government.
Far-right podcaster, The Perfume Nationalist.
What the hell is that?
I have heard of that one. The alt-right technologist, Curtis Yarvin, and Steve Bannon. As an independent film producer and a member of the Jewish community, I cannot sit by in silence anymore. I ask that you do the right thing and condemn this hate. This cannot be what our industry is about. So this email back in 2023 was ghosted. He did not get a response from Gersh.
Yeah.
And they continued representing Dasha. And for a long time, she has tried to do this balancing act of being a controversial internet micro-celebrity as well as having a mainstream acting career. That worked up until this month. So he says to The Hollywood Reporter in this new piece, you have Bronze Age pervert. You have Curtis Jarvin. You've got all these really nasty fascist bastards. And they're actively trying to infiltrate mainstream Hollywood via these it girls. Like, you just make them sound cooler than they actually are when you say that. But it was the 2.5-hour Red Scare episode released on October 10th featuring avowed anti-Semite and white nationalist Nick Fuentes that took Brown past the boiling point.
Wait, so he did this for 2 years and he wasn't at the boiling point yet?
No, he had not gotten even close. He says you have someone, Nick Fuentes he means, that is calling for the expulsion and deportation of all immigrants. This is somebody that actively hates Jewish people, that says Hitler was right, that the Holocaust was a hoax, and even if it wasn't a hoax, it probably should have happened. And then you have Dasha supporting this, and then you have Gersh, we're gonna make her a star. These are Jewish agents. What the F is wrong with them?
I will say that one of the things that people in the podcast space are finding is that eventually you will max out and you will have to find more and more, I guess, extreme voices. And eventually people are going to expect you to like push back on them a little bit if you disagree with them. And if you don't, they'll assume that that they're going to take letting them talk as cosign because they view platforming as a thing, right? They view like just talking to somebody as platforming them. And the number one way I see things differently now than they would have been 30 years ago is there's a direct monetary incentive to any level of platforming. So it's supposed to be, at least in this guy's opinion, it should be held to a different standard. I don't agree, but I do expect most of the time when I see these interviews, whether it's Tucker Carlson interviewing Fuentes, people are going to be upset because they don't push back enough, even if they do. And I don't know because I don't watch Nick Fuentes, so I have no idea. But I do know that no amount of pushback is ever going to be enough unless it ends in like a fight.
No, that's actually just the gripe in disguise.
Yeah.
They're saying you didn't push back enough.
Why does it? She
but
should have
really the problem that they have with it in the first place is interacting with this person at all in any context.
Look, like all Gersh should have says like, but did you die though? Like these two had a conversation. The world didn't end. Maybe some shitty viewpoints got shared to people, but then you don't have a lot of faith in humanity if you think that people's shitty viewpoints. That's just what I'm assuming. That's what I'm assuming his take on it is that these are shitty viewpoints. I don't listen to him. I know that he's extremely charismatic and people like a lot of what he has to say. But if you disagree with him, then you should, point out where he's wrong.
Well, they even mention in the article that the episode itself got only a couple 100,000 views.
That's kind of shocking.
And because it was behind their paywall on Patreon. And then when it was reposted on YouTube, it also got similar views.
But then, I mean, it gets banned or it gets
deplatformed anyway. So he's not even reacting to this episode that's getting millions of views and blowing up everywhere.
They've turned this kid into the ultimate boogeyman.
They have, yes. And Tucker Carlson is similarly getting huge pushback from within the right for his interview as well.
When I look at the people who are arguing about everybody's personal interactions between one another, I'm like, how do you people have the time and the bandwidth to do this?
Well, Trump did end up coming out and basically saying that he likes Tucker and that he doesn't want people to dictate who he's allowed to interview.
Nor should he. He should
was the right call.
Talk to whoever he wants to. You can complain that he doesn't push back enough, and Tucker Carlson can take that into account. But it seems like he just enjoys putting these people on and letting him talk. Like when he had Putin on, and Putin started waxing poetic about Russian history for 3 hours.
There was literally more backlash to the Fuentes interview than the Putin interview, which is crazy. Brown emailed Dasha's agents yet again after the Fuentes interview and copied the majority owners of the talent agency, Bob and David Gersh. And he says, once again, they ignored me. He shifted strategies.
Who was the one? I'm sorry, just before we move on. Who was the one that was going really hard? Not Candace Owens, but was going really hard at Eric Kirk. Was that Kyle Kalinske?
I don't.
Whoever that was, I thought it was Secular Talk. Whoever it was, like that dude could go on literally any podcast, despite the fact that he said stuff I found to be pretty gross, and it's not the end of the world.
Him, Destiny, Hassan Piker, all of whom have called for violence on public platforms.
I'm not going to talk to them because they're not in this sphere, and this isn't some type of debate show. Like, they're not people I want to hang out with in my life, but I'm not offended, nor should anybody else be offended that they had conversations with other people.
So Jonathan decided to post about this appearance on his Instagram stories, and in that post tagged Matt Grobar, a journalist at Deadline. And that appeared to change things internally at Gersh when they started getting concerned about media coverage. Yeah. Brown noticed an account for Gersh Communications began watching his Instagram stories. He's like watching his views like a hawk scrolling
I'm sorry.
through.
Any dude who knows who looks at their Instagram stories is not a dude. You're not a man.
Peas.
Turn in your man card if you look at who looks at your Instagram
Definitely
stories.
sits when he pees. He says then Dasha got dropped shortly after. Yeah. But he wasn't done. Several days earlier, it had been reported that Dasha was cast in Iconoclast, the feature film directing debut of actor Gabriel Basso. So this guy actually played J.D. Vance in the Hillbilly Elegy film adaptation with Amy Adams. Yep. And he was directing Iconoclast. He put Dasha in the cast, and Brown knew about this. He knew one of the producers of Iconoclast and texted him when the episode with Nick Fuentes was released, saying, "Be careful. Dasha just did a podcast with Nick Fuentes. Bad idea to be associated with anyone who's openly pro-Hitler." The producer then responded, "Oh, wow. The other producer is Jewish and is friends with her. IDK her." When the news broke that Gersh dropped Dasha, Jonathan Brown texted the same Iconoclast producer again, saying, "I hope you find an excellent actress to replace her." And he assured Jonathan, saying, "Yes, she is being replaced right now."
I guess my main point when I think of all of this is like, you know, when Nick Fuentes says stuff like Hitler was right? That's what he said. That was like a tweet that I saw.
I don't know what exactly you're referencing.
As stupid as that is, I don't want to live in a world where this dude has any power either, where you go around and you micromanage other people's conversations and you use their interviews to get them fired. Like, you
suck. Pull up the photo of him that Dasha posted, by the way. Just when you look at this guy, it all makes sense. This guy is the ultimate hall monitor. She said, "Tremendous story about a brave man and his years-long quest to punish a podcaster who had the audacity to have a job." And he was rewarded for this behavior. And now a lot of people have said, in response to this story, woke is back. I think it actually demonstrates that woke never left. And it was a mistake for anyone to say that we were in the middle of this anti-woke vibe shift. You can't square that circle in an age where people are still getting canceled and blacklisted in various industries for things like this.
I don't think that's the fairest interpretation. When people say back, no, it never left completely, but there's always going to be lines in the sand that have been there since the beginning. Him and Alex Jones were, remember when YouTube was like, we're going to unban people. We're going to unban people. Everyone's going to be able to platform free speech, right? No, it's just so they can gather your data so they can make AI replicas of you, because that's what it's all coming down to at the end. It's all data farming for AI. But there was a line in the sand. The line in the sand was Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes, who tried to start new YouTube channels and either weren't allowed to or were banned again, right away.
Well, then they said, "Oh, but you didn't follow the rules. You're supposed to apply through our pilot program, and you didn't fill out a form." Things
have definitely shifted to a certain extent. I don't agree that. Look, there was when I saw a thing yesterday where Bill Maher said that he's going to he's stopping comedy. Like he's not going to be doing comedy tours anymore because he doesn't want to get shot. He said by the left or the right, but we know what he means by that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Bob's your uncle. The point is that 10 years ago, the worry would have been more that somebody with dissenting opinions, maybe not Bill Maher, because he's kind of always been on the left, that somebody with the dissenting opinions wouldn't be allowed to have a comedy special at all. Now you can have it. You just got to worry about backlash.
I don't think that's the proper benchmark to measure the state.
Do you
of
think
woke.
Do you think that regular people are still losing their jobs for like putting up the okay hand sign? That's my benchmark. Do you remember that?
Well, no. I think the grossest excesses of woke have already peaked, and we're on the downslope from that. But woke is far from gone and dead.
In Hollywood, absolutely.
And I think that it encroached so far into our lives that just the slightest recession of wokes, it appears to be its death. But in reality, we don't even know how much ground we lost.
It's the left's version of the big ask. They're like, okay, we'll let you keep your job if you make a fake okay hand gesture, but we get to ban this lady from working in Hollywood because she interviewed the wrong person.
It's true. Yeah. So I think that woke is far from gone, and this is just one point of evidence for that.
Yep. All right.
It's unfortunate. I hope she finds new representation.
I mean, she can still do her podcast without representation.
Sure,
right?
yeah, but it's just the question of whether she's going to be able to work in Hollywood, which is much more difficult.
Guys, if there are like, I would be interested to know, maybe like send me some, like tag in on X. Like, are there some examples of like this stuff happening in the real world? I'm sure it still happens. I'm sure people still lose their jobs for stupid stuff these days.
I mean, I don't think it's stupid. I applaud it, but a lot of people lost their jobs for celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. I think that's justified. A lot of people said that was hypocritical of the right, but I think it's actually the proper response.
All right. What would you like to see? Cringe? I don't even know if we have. I got to catch back up on Cute, so I guess we're just doing Cringe today.
Oh, we don't have Cute.
Okay, actually, you know what? I got to use this as my time to plead then. Guys... we need to get those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. We need you to send in your pets for Cute of the Day on X. Tag me in there at Brett Dasovic and use the hashtag. I know people don't use hashtags anymore. PCC Pets. And we will get them featured on here. Yes. Some people did send some over the weekend, but I haven't had time to pull them up because today has been absolutely
totally
insane. Let's do Cringe of the Day, then.
Yes.
All right.
This is a good one. It's Mark Zuckerberg showing off his new Meta AI products.
Really proud of this. Maybe let's make, I don't know, what should we make? Maybe like a steak sauce, maybe Korean-inspired type thing, just to show what the live AI is like.
Yeah, let's try it. It's not something I've made before, so I could definitely use the help. Hey, Meta, start live AI.
Oh, it's not working?
That's literally the entire thing.
Starting live AI. I love the setup you have here with soy sauce and other ingredients. How can I help?
Hey, can you help me make a Korean-inspired steak sauce for my steak sandwich here?
It says, can we get healthcare instead of whatever this is?
You can make a Korean-inspired steak sauce using soy sauce, sesame oil.
What do I do first?
He cut her off. It was rude.
What do I do first?
You've already combined the base ingredients, so now grate a pear to add to the sauce.
Why does this exist?
Because people
What do I do first?
Oh, he has to...
Oh, no!
You've already combined the base ingredients, so now grate the pear and gently combine it with the base sauce.
All right, I think the Wi-Fi might be messed up.
Yeah, is that what it is?
It's all good.
No, there's more.
Oh,
Don't
gosh.
worry.
You know what? It's all good.
Why are you clapping?
The irony of the whole thing is that you spend years making technology, and then the Wi-Fi at the day kind of catches you.
A few moments later.
So I think our call will be coming in any moment now.
Pause WhatsApp video call.
There we go. Uh-oh. Well, let's see what happened there. That's too bad. I don't know what happened. Maybe Buzz can try calling me again. All right. Well, I got a missed video call. Okay, there's the actual video call. All right. I'm just going to pick that up with my neural band. This
Gets
is,
worse.
you know, it happens.
Do you think he like in his head he's going, "You're a billionaire. You're a billionaire. Fuck these people."
Yeah, let's, what do you think? Let's just go ahead and...
WhatsApp video call.
Let's go for a fourth. All right. Try it again. I keep on messing this up. And if not, then we'll go for the less fun out. Okay. I don't know what to tell you guys. All right. We're going to have Buzz come out here, and we're just going to go to the next thing that I wanted to show.
I can't do it anymore. I'm sorry.
And hope that will work. I am...
Oh my gosh. Like, how do you not? Like, assuming that it's, like, did they not run a test run beforehand? Like, if I'm him, if I'm up on that stage alone, out on an island, I'm checking beforehand that, like, all that technology works.
Like, how many people got fired?
Look, okay, guys, I was like, I recorded a video today on like Saudi Arabia and WB deal, and there was like some like mic cuts in there, and I was like stressing about it before I go live in front of like 1,000 people. You're in like a room of, you know, it's not 1,000 people in that room, but those are real people. Like if you're going into the real world, you'd think you'd want to like quadruple check that it's working.
And what's crazy is everyone in that room probably thinks that AI is the future, man.
Yep.
Like, look at the heat map, you know? People who live in San Francisco, they have much more, they have much more doomsday predictions about AI than
Maybe
the
this
rest
was
of the
maybe
country.
maybe this was actually Mark Zuckerberg's like reverse psychology way of showing you that he's a human being. He can be embarrassed like a normal person. Normal people would get embarrassed in a situation like
living
this.
in a bubble, man, and clearly did not do a test run beforehand. This is crazy work.
All right, let's move on.
Guys, Hollywood has officially given up. I think that you were already aware of that, as they just made, you know, the live action remake of Moana, which came out less than 10 years ago. But even worse than that, I just learned they have greenlit the production of a Labubu movie. A movie about those little troll demon keychains that women are obsessed with and have already become uncool. Yeah, those things. They're
done.
Gonna make a movie about Labubus at Sony, just off the heels of this smash hit, K-pop Demon Hunters. They decided their next best move to follow up that huge hit is a Labubu movie. The Hollywood Reporter was the exclusive report about this. Labubu, the plush toy line of scruffy, cute, ugly monsters, could be headed to the big screen. Sony Pictures, home of the Jumanji movies and via its animation division, K-pop Demon Hunters, has picked up the screen rights to the Chinese doll brand with the aim of making a movie and, in success, launching a franchise. So it's not just one movie. It's going to be a whole cinematic universe of Labubus. No producer or filmmaker is attached at this stage, as the deal was just signed this week. It's too early to tell whether the potential movie would be live action or animated, and Sony has not offered any comment for the piece. So I don't know what to expect other than more slop that no one asked for and no one wants. Like, I don't even think people who like Labubus want a Labubu movie.
Yeah, I don't know how it would do. Like, I tend to be wrong about these types of things. I bet you could end up doing gangbusters at the box office. The problem is the article mentions like it's still too early to tell whether Labubus will go the way of the Beanie Baby or something more long lasting like Hello Kitty. Well, you know, the thing is now everything goes the way of the Beanie Baby because technology and, you know, culture moves so damn quickly. Like nothing stays popular for very long.
To be clear, Labubus are already passé.
Yeah.
They are not fashionable anymore. They were fashionable in the summer. They're gone. Like, I still see them here and there out and about in the world, which is terrifying, but they are uncool officially now. I don't know what has replaced them, but they're already gone. And they're going to greenlight a movie that, you know, they're going to delay the release until, you know, 2029 or something. If the rest of Hollywood is anything to judge off of.
Nobody will even remember what it is by then.
Exactly. This is the problem. They're just going to pick up any hyper-consumerist slop and try to make a movie about it instead of making a real story that interests people.
Yes.
And, you know, I think people are missing the point when they respond to headlines like this saying, nobody wants this, nobody asked for this, we hate this sucks, stop, please stop. Because they're fundamentally missing the reality, which is that no one asked you and no one cares that you don't want it. Your preference matters not the slightest iota to Hollywood studios at this point. That has been communicated very clearly to us for the last 15 years or more. They do not care what audiences want, and they will decide what you want for you. And even if the numbers show that this movie bombs, nobody watched it, it's a total flop, they'll just continue doubling down in this path, digging in their heels. What you want does not matter, whether it's in the arena of entertainment or technology. It doesn't matter. So stop expressing your opinion, basically. It's a pointless endeavor. It's totally futile to continue telling people in the tech world, people in Hollywood, what you want and don't want, because they're not listening, and their best response to you is like, don't worry, you'll like it eventually. We'll just make sure that you like it by the time it's out. Or their response is some variation of like, too bad, you're getting it anyway.
There's some very positive stuff being said about the first images for Zelda. People
That's true.
That.
Well, except from a very mentally ill corner of the internet that cannot handle the stars of the movie being white.
Yeah.
You know, only I said this earlier on X. I said only Asian people are allowed to make movies where they don't race swap the white characters. That's why they're kind of getting a pass. There are still the people who are mad that Hunter Schafer didn't get the role that Bo Bragason did. So there's like a very small vocal minority railing against the Zelda movie, but for the most part, I'm seeing a positive response.
Yes. But my point was more like that's something people actually kind of wanted, and now they're actually getting it.
Definitely. But why did it take that long?
That's a very good question. I still don't know why we haven't gotten a live action Metal Gear Solid movie.
And again, I'm just saying, you know, telling people that are creating movies, that are creating tech for consumers, they're not listening to the audiences. They're not listening to the consumers because, I mean, even more so in the industry for tech, your preferences do not matter. They did not ask. They are not taking it into account. And this is what I was trying to express on our episode on Friday in reference to like AI, for instance. People are responding to this news that Disney Plus has introduced this feature for user-generated AI content on the platform, and it's going to be shareable to all subscribers on Disney Plus. Everyone that I've seen responding to this on social media is saying like, thanks, I hate it. We didn't ask for this. We don't want this. Please stop. And I'm just trying to point out that they didn't take your opinion into account in the first place, and you expressing your opinion now makes exactly zero difference in whether they go ahead with that.
They're not planning for our generation, or my generation, or your generation, or even even Gen Alpha. They're planning for beta and beyond. Like when they do AI slop.
That's true.
Like they're not. They don't care about us because they already know. Like me, I'm ancient in that respect. They are planning 10, 15, 20 years ahead, and what they want is that in 20 years, when the technology catches up with the idea, that generation of kids who grew up entirely clearly with an AI voice talking to them their whole life while they go to school, they're going to want to sit on their computer. It's why I think that I've always pushed back on the idea that Tim talks about. People will want to sit there and make their own movies. I'm like, not our generation. Like, the last thing I want to do is go home and make my own movie with AI prompts. I would rather die than do that. Okay, I would. But Gen Beta, whatever comes after, what comes after that?
We don't know, but it's probably going to be Generation Gamma.
They will absolutely want to do stuff like this.
I think it's because they will not be presented with a better option, not because it's actually their organic preference. What I was saying about tech on Friday is that people have this strange nostalgia for a time when corporations not so long ago were interested in catering to audience preferences. So it used to be that there might have been a need or a desire for a certain technology that improves our quality of life. Like, you know, it would be so great if we had a technology that could wash our clothes for us. Here's this product, and then people buy it, and it adds to their quality of life, gives them time for other things in their life than just, you know, manual labor. However, what followed that point, when people started making more money, working in factories, coalescing in urban areas, corporations then introduced advertising to engender a desire in the consumers that they did not have in the first place for a product that they didn't ever conceive of existing. So they then started creating our desires for us. And now we've gotten to a point where we are post-desire, and the consumer desire is totally irrelevant to product development for corporations, because we are not being pitched on anything now. We are not being sold anything now, increasingly. We are the product, and it's incredibly cliche to say that, but we're the product because they're trying to use our data. Like, we're being harvested for our data.
Well, that's what I was talking about when David Ellison says that Paramount is not just an entertainment company. It's a technology company.
Yes.
It's because they want to use all of this, and their excuse as of right now is that they use the data to better understand their customers so they know what to make, right? Like that story, like people like political thrillers, people like Kevin Spacey, therefore we will put Kevin Spacey in a political thriller a la Netflix back in 2012 or whatever year that was. Might have been later than that. Point being that everything's data-centric now.
Yeah.
And I think about this sometimes because I wonder what that's like in like the wrestling business, where it's like back in the day, Vince McMahon decided what was going to be big. And then, you know, if the audience fell in line, sometimes it worked, like a Stone Cold Steve Austin, and became the biggest wrestler of a generation. Or you go early Roman Reigns, where they said, he's the guy. And then everyone's like, we reject, because you're telling me he's the guy. At least that was a human being trying to pitch you on the idea, not an algorithm. I long for the days of Vince McMahon telling me what I need to watch, like as opposed to what we're going to be getting in the future.
A Labubu movie is the definition of algorithmic desire programming. Like, even when these Hollywood studios, media conglomerates, or tech corporations are supposedly using our data to preempt our desires and preferences and provide for them, they're doing so in such a tragically stupid way, where even the success of Barbie, for instance, led them to believe, oh, perfect, we'll just make more movies about toys. And Randall Park is
Can I steel man that argument at least a little bit if I was them?
Well, but before I let you do that, I wanted to mention Randall Park's comment about the success of Barbie. He said Hollywood keeps taking the wrong lessons from successful movies. For example, Barbie is this massive blockbuster, and the idea is make more movies about toys. No, make more movies by and about women. So that's like way louder than it used to be. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome, everybody.
Yes, you finally get the crisis parties back. So even from his liberal feminist perspective, he is pointing out the miscalculation that Hollywood studios have made, which somehow the domino effect went from the Barbie movie making over $1 billion to Labubu SLOP.
I will steel man in a couple of ways, actually. Okay, so if I'm the studio, yes, you have access to these IPs. One of the joke was always Hot Wheels. But when people say that in their mind, what they think is the guy goes into a pitch meeting, goes, and then the car, it's all CGI, and it jumps off a cliff, and it explodes. Or the guy says, we get Vin Diesel, and he pitches an actual movie concept around an IP. Still doable. Do we think that that's actually what's going to happen? Probably not. But that would be the steel man of the argument, is that theoretically they hire the right writer and the right director who bring about the right star to bring their stupid IP to life. And by that's probably Jack Black. Let's be honest. It's probably Jack Black most of the time with those things.
We'll probably get into this later this week, but the New York Times just published a report about the string of flops from Hollywood this year in the theatrical releases and why this is happening. Maybe like you could say it's because, the storytelling isn't up to par. That's definitely part of the problem. But most people are responding to it saying, we do not have enough money as a family to be going to the theaters regularly. This is the problem. It's not affordable. And what I wanted to...
Even that's not even a fair comparison. There's just too much to choose from.
Well, that's also, like, it's decision anxiety. There are a lot of factors. But what I wanted to point out that I mentioned earlier is that people feel that their jobs are soul-sucking and lifeless. And they, if they were just living on the basic necessities of life, they would actually have disposable income for things like this, or at least they would have maybe in the 20th century. Advertising became such a huge industry because people working soul-sucking jobs didn't have enough incentives to continue working soul-sucking jobs, where, for instance, you're like working at a factory and you're the person who puts in this one particular bolt in this one particular machine all day, every day, repeatedly, monotonously. You're losing your will to live. No amount of pay increase is enough to incentivize you to stay in such a soul-sucking job. Therefore, advertising needs to come in and fill that vacuum and provide you more incentive so you can have this desire engendered within you for something you didn't know you wanted. Therefore, this disposable income you have continues draining because there's a new product that you want, and it just keeps you on the hamster wheel.
Fills my soul with a little bit of love until the next thing needs to come in because I'm dead inside.
Right. But I'm sorry, the Labubu movie is not enough. It's not really cutting it.
I guess every so often they get lucky and they hit it out of the park with one random idea. I wouldn't have thought Lego Batman would have been any good, but I think a lot of people actually ended up liking Lego Batman from what I talked about.
The Lego movie was a huge deal.
The other thing here is the corner argument to this, like the argument to the other side of the aisle, is a complete lack of creativity and to go completely formulaic, which is what works in Hollywood. It is what works. It's what works on network television. It is what works for the most part. Now, when I say that, I'm going to do a video this week, I think, on the re-rise, the return of what they call cozy crime, which is that right now, if you look at the ratings on television, it's all of these shows that are made for, if you're my age or younger, it's made to be watched in the background while you're doing dishes or cleaning around the house. Or if you're older than us, older than me, then you can watch on your recliner before bed.
Chain smoking in your living room.
Exactly. It's designed to be inoffensive. It's designed to be exactly what you expected it to be. And that's okay. It's got its own market share for those types of things. These are businesses. The other problem they have, they are no longer advertising to a small subset of people, which makes that type of thing. Okay, you want to listen to the audience, right? Well, which audience is that? Is that your American audience? Is that your international audiences? Because we're seeing increasing amounts of gap between the American box office and the returns on the overseas box office. I saw this lie this weekend from this account that said Now You See Me 3 made back 85% of its budget in its first 2 days. Wrong. The movie cost like $90 million to make, or $100 million to make, and made $75 million. Well, parroting the lie that they keep all that money. No, they keep even less than that. Not just because of the American box office, of which it made very little. It made most of its money overseas, where the split is even worse. So who do you make your movies for? Do you make it for China? Which Hollywood spent a decade trying to do, and it failed, and then Hollywood decided we're going to make our own movies anyways. The number one movie of this year, if you want to actually believe the numbers that were provided, was that movie Niza 2. Made like $2 gazillion dollars. It was like $2 billion or something like that. Whether you want to believe those numbers or not, they don't need to market towards American audiences anymore. But American audiences are consistently trying to find this universal appeal when then suddenly Superman no longer has truth, justice in the American way, right? You are no longer just marketing to an American audience. You're marketing to a worldwide audience. So to them, they're like, screw it. We'll just make them like something. We'll make Labubu, and then China will love it, and stupid American kids will love it, and everybody will go and see it. Does it work all the time? No. In fact, it rarely works, or it seems like it rarely works. But that's, in my opinion, what their approach is now. They're global companies. They're not just American companies. If you were advertising to American companies, perhaps you could be even more specific and listen to the audiences.
We are running a little short on time, so we should go to the super chats for a second here. Greg Duvier said Mary already has tickets to the Labubu movie. This is slander. This is not true. Another weird thing about it is like it's supposed to be marketed as a kids movie, but all of the people who are into Labubus
are adults in their 20s. Yeah,
with a lot of money to gamble on them. Yeah. Corey Anderson said, how many super chats for you to review the Labubu movie?
The real question is,
I could be convinced.
How many super chats for me to review the Great American Family Murder Mystery that I watched over the weekend?
0.
I watched A Great American Family Murder Mystery starring Candace Cameron Bure. And
she's awesome.
My wife was like, this is stupid. And then she's like way more into it. And then she loved it. Because, of course, I'm always right.
Brian Bledsoe said, Brett tried to sabotage girl talk with silent crisis parties. Welcome back, Running Man. Yeah, it was all Brett's fault.
It was all
Brett's fault. It wasn't women's fault.
I mean, women in tech, let's be real, guys.
Women in accountability are like oil and water.
No, I think what happened was I left the volume turned down because you have to...
That was the problem initially, but then... I think like either Libby or Alex like grabbed it, and then
the lead got
the cord got undone. Yeah. Corey Anderson said, Brett, did you see Friday's show? The lovely ladies screwed up ready the $20 super chats so bad. Hashtag Femcast. Hashtag never again. Hashtag LOL. Hashtag good times. Hashtag Friday Fem Day.
What do they mean by screwed up reading? You're like the best reader in history.
Well, I didn't screw up the reading part, but we did get to some of the 20s later than we should have because I was focused on like doing the show.
Doing the show, that's okay.
Usually you notice them before I do.
Do one more.
Shane H. Wilder said he knew it was coming and said he was glad he had a spare cassock. Yeah, he's old school and walks around in the cassock and a Capello Romano hat. I don't know if I pronounced that right. It's like the black, it looks like a dress that like certain priests wear. It used to be what all priests wore, but most of them don't wear it now. It's more old school.
Let's hold off on the rest. We'll come back.
So at long last, we have an update on the Justin Baldoni Blake Lively defamation suit. Most recently, I should remind you, Justin Baldoni's countersuit against Blake Lively got completely thrown out because his team missed a court deadline to amend his complaint. That was intentional on their part. They knew there was no way to amend it and keep the case. So they let it slide, and Blake Lively's claims are still active against Justin Baldoni. She is now saying she has suffered $161 million in damages from the alleged smear campaign tied to the release of It Ends With Us, $56.2 million in lost acting, producing, and endorsement income, $49 million lost from her beauty brand, Blake Brown. I didn't even know it was called that.
I didn't even know she had a beauty brand.
They all do. And then $22 million lost from her beverage company, Betty Buzz / Betty Booze.
Betty Boos.
which was also involved in the marketing campaign for the movie, which seems a little out of step with the tone of the story being about domestic violence, but that's another discussion entirely. So Justin Baldoni is in a really bad place right now. They're still in the stage of discovery. Things are being released in public court documents to the public.
We've got a 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. Says, Hollywood has a combined problem. Risk-averse studio learn the wrong lessons from films that become a big success and then blame the audience when the follow-on movie sequel bombs. Follow-up movie, but yeah, I get your point, and you're right. I'm going to do a separate video this week, I believe, about the announcement that they're going to be making F1 2. So F2, I guess, and Top Gun Maverick 2 Electric Boogaloo.
F1+1.
Yeah, F1+1 and Top Gun Maverick 2, which is just Top Gun 3, which nobody wants because the charm of F1 was that it was a solitary story. Sometimes stuff doesn't need to be a cinematic universe. Sometimes like a small individual story is the right thing to do, but they don't know how to do that.
Actually, It Ends With Us did really well in the box office because they cornered a very specific female market that are fans of Colleen Hoover's books.
Yep.
Now, the biggest revelation in these new court documents are from a group chat with Justin Baldoni and some friends of his. And I need to explain this.
Did somebody leak this?
No, it was in court documents.
Okay,
the
I was going to say,
the screenshots of this group chat came from Baldoni's side.
You always excommunicate whoever leaked the group chat. The group chat is sacrosanct.
He believes that these screenshots build his case in defense of Blake Lively's claims. Yeah. So he and his team released these to the public. Rainn Wilson is in these screenshots throwing his support behind Baldoni. And I'm like, since when are Rainn Wilson and Justin Baldoni boys?
Yeah.
What's going on here? Why is he suddenly involved in this case? I will explain. This is the Baha'i Bros group chat. It wasn't actually called that.
Damn it.
Might as well have been.
I was like,
the Baha'i Boys. And you might have forgotten this. I'll just refresh your memory. Justin Baldoni is part of an infinitesimally small religious group called Baha'i. He is a follower of the Baha'i faith. I believe he was actually raised in it. And Rainn Wilson is also Baha'i. And so is Steve Sarowitz, who runs Justin Baldoni's production company, the billionaire benefactor for his production company, and all of the other men in this group chat. So this is all for their Baha'i support group. And in this Baha'i Bros group chat, Rainn Wilson starts by saying, this is dated January 5th, 2024. So 8 months prior to the movie's release. They're still in the process of filming. Justin Baldoni is expressing his trauma to the Baha'i Bros about getting absolutely verbally berated by Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively in this ambush meeting that took place in January last year. He says to Rainn Wilson, "Sorry for not giving an update. Last night was one of the hardest nights of my life. It's hard to describe what happened exactly. The only way to describe it was an ambush. I had no words. I couldn't formulate sentences. My brain was trying to defend itself when they were needing me to apologize for all of the ways I've effed up and made her feel unsafe. Ryan was talking to me like a 5-year-old and scolding me. They essentially said that Jamie," he's talking about Jamie Heath, the other producer on the movie, "and I were not who we claimed to be, and that for us to have a podcast is unsafe because it makes people feel like we're safe." I guess Ryan Reynolds was saying that Justin Baldoni's podcast, which is basically about male feminism,
somehow makes a female unsafe.
It has a parasocial relationship with its audience. I was read from a phone all of the things that I did, while many of them were based in actual situations, the events were wrong and things were taken completely out of context. So Ryan Reynolds was verbally abusing Justin Baldoni while he had his phone in his hand with a notes app open, with listed out all the reasons why he's a creep and an abuser. And then he says, "The word creepy and abuse were used in reference to me and my behavior. I was then given the words of what to say and had to apologize, which I was unable to do because my brain was trying to comprehend what was happening."
It's like Gina Carano when they were like, "Will you go on this Zoom call with 40 people?"
Session.
And yeah.
And it was a good choice for him not to apologize in the moment, because that would be admitting fault and put him in a very bad legal situation today. He said, I was in shock and basically went into feeling like I was a 7-year-old again when I got home last night. I was emotionally paralyzed. It was as bad as it sounds. Jamie Heath did a beautiful job apologizing. I did not have the words. Jamie Heath should not have done that. I was embarrassed for myself as it happened in front of the team, but I was embarrassed that I was unable to even formulate the correct words to apologize, and honestly just felt like a bad person. It's hard to feel so much of what they believe about me is false because they're so convinced that it's real. Well, if Justin Baldoni is going to take Justin Baldoni's advice, it doesn't matter if she's right or wrong, you just apologize. And you just say, I'm so sorry for being a man. I'm so sorry that I'm toxic and abusive and a creep.
Well, that's why we've created a culture where apologizing is seen as a bad thing, because it's never expected to be in good faith. It's expected to be a form of subservience.
He continued, looking for the nuggets of learning, which there are many, and somehow have showed up today, thanks to Jamie and my wife, and we are currently shooting. I love you all. In the second text message, he said, my brain was struggling because what I wanted to say and do was run and blow this whole movie up because I feel this was just so unjust. And yet the only path forward was to acknowledge her and Ryan's feelings and apologize and take the wrath of an angry husband. Yeah, I couldn't even do that correctly. I prayed for the words and they didn't come. So I felt abandoned by God in that moment, even though I know that's not what happened. We were told this was the worst experience of her life.
Okay. Yeah.
She hasn't been through much. Yeah. And others have witnessed this behavior, and the behavior on our set was creepy. I was emotionally paralyzed, which is something I haven't experienced in years. Then he tags Rainn Wilson and references something that they experienced together as friends. I don't know what it is. He said, at Rainn, imagine that meeting all those years ago at Soul Pancake, but times that by about 100. Don't know what happened at Soul Pancake, but it sounds
Somebody needs
harrowing.
to make a short film about it.
I spoke to my therapist for an hour, and she tried to get me out of the haze as I literally could not get myself off the couch. I don't know how I will make it through, but I know that I will, and just knowing you're all here for me means the world. Because even with Jamie here and my wife and family, I've never felt so alone. Putting a smile on, doing my best to lead the crew. I'll unpack and process this when we wrap, of course. I apologize for the vulnerability dump. This is one of the few safe spaces I have right now. I love you all and thank you for your prayers. Okay. And then he says sorry for his bad grammar. He is currently on the set of It Ends With Us, typing all of this out to his Baha'i Bros group chat while crying in the bathroom. Yeah. And then this person whose name was redacted said, Justin, you were ambushed. You reacted the only way you could. Hold on to your beliefs and keep moving forward. God is all glorious and is with you. Our prayers for strength and protection continue. We are with you in spirit and love you with all our hearts. Then Rainn Wilson replies, his name was not redacted. He said, I can't believe it. You were set up and ambushed and personally attacked. I'm stunned. I completely relate to you being stunned like a deer in the headlights. Probably better that you didn't immediately just start apologizing. Good advice. So grateful that Jamie is your partner and could step in diplomatically as needed. Onwards, brother. Make a great and important and entertaining piece of storytelling. That's all you can do now. So sorry for what you went through. Heartbreak emoji. And there's also a message at the end calling them freaking warriors from another Baha'i actor named Travis Van Winkle. So this is the revelation from the Baha'i group chat. And Rainn Wilson, of course, is getting tons of hate.
I know that it's kind of a joke, but you kind of do have to be a warrior to make it in that industry. You have to be so self-serving and political and like gifted at misdirection and self-interest to be successful in that business. It's not easy.
Well, then here are some of the replies from the Blake supporters. One said, Rainn, you're dead to me now. Oh, he'll never recover from that
no.
one. Another one said, wow, F you, Dwight.
Cries in Office money.
The Office is just never going to hit the same now that I know he supports abusers.
Wait, does anybody else have any hot takes from there? Like, who else from the Office cast has been, has anybody else been, exposed?
Not that I know.
They're all unbelievably inoffensive.
I mean, Will Ferrell, if you count him.
No.
Definitely turned into a huge
cringe
tard, but
No.
In terms of getting canceled, I can't think of anyone from The Office that got canceled.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rainn Wilson is losing a lot of fans right now because he supports Baldoni. It's just in the Baha'i bro faith that it's Baha'i before hoes. Like, you know, you have to support your Baha'i bros before anything else, and they have to be in their safe space to share their feelings with each other.
Like, I guess, like, reading how, for somebody who didn't know what to say, he certainly had a lot to say in that text. I can't.
Look, he is not a sympathetic character in this story for people who are critical of Me Too. He is someone who openly, vocally advocated for Me Too and for feminism. He told men to simply listen and believe women and to apologize for the crime of being male. And now he is in the position where he's facing the consequences of those social movements that he supported. And a lot of people have mixed feelings about supporting him in turn. And now another piece of evidence that Baldoni's team has presented in this case in his defense is from the dailies. There is a new clip that they released to the public that this scene never made it into the final cut of the movie, but it was a scene that actually Blake Lively improvised kissing him. This is something that Blake Lively has accused Justin Baldoni of doing, but according to his team, she literally did the same thing in the clip you're about to watch.
Think about how much work has to go into color grading these movies.
Oh, it looks awful, yeah.
I mean, they're shot flat like that for a reason,
Right.
but yeah.
So he's playing the surgeon, Ryle Kincaid, coming down the hallway.
Why not Kyle Rincaid?
Yeah, what about Kyle Rincaid? We need more Kyle Rincaid representation. So there's Blake.
I promise you, you have absolutely nothing to be scared of, okay? I've done this surgery so many times. Close your eyes and you're going to be great, right? Bye, Emily. See you later.
Good guy, Ryle.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry.
Wait, what are you...
No, I just...
Is everything okay?
Yeah, you just...
Wait, what? No, babe, this isn't mine.
I know. I know. I happen to love you.
Okay, so Justin Baldoni's character in that scene looks taken by surprise, probably because Justin Baldoni was taken by surprise in that moment. This kiss was not in the script, according to his team.
Right there, he's like, still got it.
Yeah. Part of her lawsuit accuses Baldoni of kissing her during scenes where the script did not call for it. And in new docs, he fires back that Blake herself did that to him during this scene. He said that he included this scene in the exhibit attached to the suit because it proves that she improvised the kiss. According to the docs, Justin says what's appalling is that although he was the director of the movie, Blake had rewritten this part of the script herself. And it didn't include the kiss even in her rewrite, where she took control because of her producing authority. He says this scene was filmed after the January 2024 ambush between their camps to discuss his sexual harassment allegations. And at that time, after that meeting, they both agreed there would be no further improvisation. So he says, we agreed to stick to the script, but Blake broke that agreement, according to him at least. And yeah, she took control of the movie from him because she was one of the executive producers. And her team started taking control of the script writing and editing, even though it was his script all along. I should say, though, I don't think it's that big of a deal to improvise the kiss. It's hypocritical of her to accuse him of doing that. However, improvising a kiss is like not that big of a deal in objective terms, and plenty of stars have done it, have admitted to doing it. They play it for laughs. Margot Robbie admitted that there was a scene in Babylon where she kissed Brad Pitt's character. It wasn't in the script. And she admitted that she did it just because she thinks Brad Pitt's hot and wanted to kiss him.
Just remember, life's not fair, and men and women are different.
True.
It's always going to be acceptable for a woman to improvise it. It will never be acceptable now in 2025 for a man.
Sure.
I'm just telling you how it is. Whether right or wrong.
Sure.
Like, society will never say that the man will have leeway there. The women will always have leeway in these situations.
The funny thing is, Margot Robbie said, When else am I gonna get the chance to kiss Brad Pitt? I'm
Yeah.
just gonna go for it. Sue me.
You gotta do that in an
Sue me,
You have
she
to do that in an Australian accent, though.
Sue me. I don't know. So I don't think it's like that big of a deal when you're in Hollywood. This is your job. But you cannot hypocritically accuse someone else on the movie of doing it, and then there's literally proof that you did the same thing. Now, another piece of footage presented by Blake Lively's team shows Justin Baldoni making an inappropriate comment on set. He said that something or someone or someone's outfit was sexy, and he's mic'd up in this clip and then makes a joke about missing the sexual harassment training.
All right, we should go. Ready? All right.
Alright, hey, somebody lock it up.
So you can barely hear it, but he said
Ma'am, do you have a toothpick?
Yeah, right here.
Thank you.
Okay.
So he said, sorry, I missed the sexual harassment training, and rolled his eyes at the camera.
You know, like every like network television show in the early 2000s would do like episodes where they had to go to sexual harassment training and then hilarity would ensue. We really lost that.
Again, even if Blake's team is presenting this as proof of his misconduct on set, it's literally just a guy making an awkward joke that people didn't laugh at. Like, what is, like, everyone, please stop suing each other. Like, do you remember How to Be Human?
Yep. They don't.
People make jokes that don't land sometimes. It's not the end of the world.
That's me. Most of my jokes.
Like, I get that people are saying, you know, it makes him look so bad. This is really compromising for his case. Is it, though? Is it? Because I hear that type of comment and probably in their eyes, way worse from an HR perspective in our workplace. And I just think, like, there's no reason to get your panties in a bunch, or I guess your onesie. Everyone in the scene was wearing a onesie. There's no reason to get your onesie in a bunch. I think he was making a sarcastic comment about the onesies that they were wearing, calling it sexy as a joke because it's a onesie. Like, I don't know. Everyone is really litigious and looks quite pathetic in this story, both Baldoni and Blake Lively.
All right, let's move on.
Corey Anderson. I'm not going to read that one.
Yeah, it was worth a shot.
Another one from Corey said, in regards to Big Mike, when have graduates of Princeton and Harvard not had representation in the U.S. political class?
Yeah.
Good question. Stefan Buttle said they don't make women's clothes in men's sizes. Very true. Corey Anderson said, Mary, if you want to grow your female following, you have to do Get Ready With Me videos. Prove me wrong. Yeah, Brett would hate that. It's like the #1 pet peeve that you have is Get Ready With Me videos.
I should say that, look, I don't watch Get Ready With Me videos, but the only time they come across my desk here is when it's them talking about something serious. So I find something annoying about the snarky nature of the way they deliver information in those videos.
So if it were just about the makeup or whatever,
I mean,
it
wouldn't be for me, but I wouldn't
be-
find it. But I wouldn't find it annoying. I'd just be like, okay, this is just not the content for me. They just always come across as really, really, really annoying.
I don't have any plans of making Get Ready With Me videos in the future.
Do
it's
one
not
more.
really my bag. No Control said, you can't always judge a book by its cover, implying that most of the time you can. That's the entire purpose of a book's cover. Yeah, but some people say you should never judge a book by its cover.
If that were true, everybody would click on every video we made, no matter what the thumbnail looked like.
That's true. And you know what? Sometimes people click on the video based on the thumbnail and don't watch it, and then they comment something
It happens a lot.
against what they think we said in the video without watching it. Or they don't watch through the whole video and they say, you forgot to mention this. But if they watched to like the 5th minute of the video, then they would have heard us say it.
Yeah. Many such cases.
That's why we do so many question marks in our thumbnails, so we can avoid accountability.
Let's hold off on the rest. Let's come back.
So there was a recent viral tweet calling out Gen Z for the arbitrary rules that they place over their own dating lives, which sabotage them and leave them forever alone. And I completely agree with this take. However, this person got so much pushback, they ended up deleting their account. I have the screenshot though. I have a theory that if you ask basically anybody alive today how their parents met, the story would violate at least one arbitrary Zoomer dating rule, and that's why nobody's having kids now. Age gap, asked out at work, asked out multiple times, coworkers, boss, employee, etc. I challenge you all to ask your parents how they met and see if I'm wrong. So my first question for you, Brett, is do you think that how your parents met would violate an arbitrary Zoomer dating rule that was listed there?
I don't actually know the story of how my parents met.
You don't?
I don't.
How? How did you never find out?
I'll have to ask my dad about it.
Yeah, you have to report back. That's like the most interesting thing that I ask people at like parties or whatever, because everyone likes talking about it.
Yeah, I would have to ask him.
For me, the way that my parents met would absolutely violate like
all the rules.
Not all
least
the
a couple
rules,
of them?
but most of them. Age gap for sure, and the boss employee thing. I can't explain any further, but that's how they met. And I'm not saying that's an endorsement because they're not together, but I do agree with the core of the take, which is that you are arbitrarily shrinking your dating pool down to basically a non-existent group.
I met a person who was exactly 1 year apart from me. We met at a party. Neither of us had anything to drink. I first asked permission to engage her space.
May I
meet you? After she affirmed yes with both a head nod and a physical bout of speech in which she said, yes, you may meet
but
me.
It needs to be enthusiastic.
And
it's
I
not just a yes, but an enthusiastic
after
yes.
every 10 sentences of speech, I reaffirmed the position that she wanted to keep talking.
Yes.
I said, hello, it's nice to meet you. That's so interesting. I didn't know that. Wow, your dad's a lawyer. Your mom's a homemaker. May I continue speaking to you,
That's
please?
another one, though. You have all of these people, mostly women, saying, don't approach women at the gym. Don't approach women at work. Don't approach women at bars. Don't approach me at the bookstore. Don't approach me at the coffee shop. Don't approach me at this place, that place, this place, that place. There's no place left.
Yes, there is. It's called Hinge.
Or, yeah, the dating app is the only sanctioned space left to possibly approach a woman.
Mike in the chat says, but should she sign a document, Brett? Yes, you have that app. That duels consent. You both sign it. Exactly. You sign here, there, and then
totally doesn't kill the vibe.
And then right before you get lucky, you both sign a blood oath on a piece of paper. You prick your finger and you go,
yeah,
let's make babies.
So, of course, the Zoomer responses to this now deleted post prove the point perfectly. One of them said, arbitrary Zoomer dating rule, and half of them are a byproduct of misogyny. Heaven forbid the women aren't having kids with the 40-year-old dude harassing them at work anymore.
I don't know how you talk about this stuff.
Another one said arbitrary Zoomer dating rule, and it's women sticking up for themselves instead of dealing with vile misogyny fundamental to heteronormativity. That's a real tweet.
Once you get to heteronormativity, you're lost.
These people, I would like to believe they are a vocal minority in Gen Z, and the majority of Gen Z doesn't want it to be this way. But they are highly neurotic and risk averse, and that's going to hamper not just your dating life, but everything you do in your life, whether it's professional, social, romantic. Another Zoomer said that they were approached by someone that they found attractive, but there's a 10-year age gap, so they couldn't reply.
Yeah.
And this quote tweet said, Gen Z is going to age gap scare themselves out of true love. The age gap thing is another huge sticking point for them. A 25-year-old woman tweeted, a 20-year-old tried hitting on me. Look, most 25-year-old women don't have any interest in a 20-year-old man. However, does that make you, if you hypothetically had an interest in this 20-year-old man, would that make you a PDF file? No. But when she got pushback for this childish take, she doubled down on it, saying that she in fact would be a PDF file for engaging romantically with a 20-year-old man.
Yeah. I'm reminded of that whole Megyn Kelly stuff that was going on.
Oh, let's not even go there. Look, we're talking about adults here.
Yes.
That, just to be clear, we're
that
talking
was
about
crazy work.
Now, you know, to make matters worse, Gen Z sabotages themselves plenty, but the older generations giving them dating advice are so out of touch that they're not able to give any constructive criticism because they just they're from a perspective of a world that no longer exists.
This is a product of an age where everything you do gets psychoanalyzed. It's just before you were in a relationship and maybe your friends knew and your parents, nobody else cared.
Okay, to draw on a personal experience, yesterday I struck up a conversation with a stranger at Target and I believe she said she's 40. She told me about how she met her husband. They've been together for a couple decades. They got married when she was 21. And I said, wow, you don't hear about that these days. And she explained to me that she met her husband at their church where she was, I believe, 17 at the time that they met, 18 when they started dating. She was part of the youth group at her church, and he was a youth group leader. He was 24.
Yeah.
7-year age gap between the two of them. However, they started dating. They took it very seriously. They ended up getting married. And she says they're so happy. She has zero regrets. I think that's okay. It's not just okay. It's something we should encourage. Because these arbitrary rules about age gaps and countless other things
let's be real.
In fact,
he wanted to get married so he could be the youth pastor who talks about how hot his wife is. That's his job. That's his job.
Look, I'm just saying, like, most people these days would be like, oh, what a creep. He's going after a kid. Yeah. And that is just totally detached from reality and the way that the world has worked for all of human history up until like 2 seconds ago. Yeah. And I'll admit, you know, I don't know what it's like to be a parent, having especially a teenage daughter. I'm sure I'll learn. If I had, a 17-year-old daughter in a youth group and this 24-year-old youth group leader has taken some sort of interest in dating her, I would be incredibly suspect at first, but I would at least want to learn what his deal is. Yeah. I wouldn't immediately write him off. Maybe that's a controversial take. Let me know.
I'm gonna be a dad one day, so I will be suspicious of any guy that has any interest in any daughter of mine. That's my job.
That's fair. That's only fair. But that doesn't mean that you write him off for an arbitrary reason.
Oh,
with
I
no
do.
Context,
I do
right?
until she's 30. Well, she can start dating when she's 30.
Okay, only if you're joking. We have a 20 from Shane H. Wilder. My parents would have broke many of these rules. 12-year age gap. My dad was a milkman who delivered to the diner my mom was working at. She kept flirting with him until he asked her out. Married 46 years until my dad passed. Again, another lovely story.
Flirting
that would have
at
never
work.
taken place in the 2020s.
And technically, I think the only one that breaks is the age gap part because they didn't technically work together. They had different jobs.
Yeah,
they just happened to intersect at the office.
The power imbalances and the consent dynamics and the HR violations of it all. Like, you simply can't. It used to be that people met at work most of the time, actually, or a plurality of the time. That's almost non-existent now because people think that inherently, is unethical and it opens up companies to legal liabilities. They don't want to open themselves up to gender discrimination lawsuits, sexual harassment lawsuits, any civil rights violations. Like, it's gotten to the point where, like, the workplace is too feminized. You cannot have any. You cannot make any sort of advance at a coworker now. So that's off the table, and you're literally left with dating apps. And people are like, "We hate dating apps. What else can we do? Is there any way to approach someone in real life?" And guess what? Bill Ackman has advice.
Yes, he does. Well, I was gonna say best we can give you is Mark Zuckerberg's AI glasses that don't know how to make a recipe for you.
Bill Ackman, billionaire boomer, has advice for Gen Z men in the dating pool. I hear from many young men that they find it difficult to meet young women in a public setting. In other words, the online culture has destroyed the ability to spontaneously meet strangers. As such, I thought I would share a few words that I used in my youth to meet someone I found compelling.
Yes. What did he say?
I would ask, "May I meet you?" before engaging further in conversation. I almost never got a no. It inevitably enabled the opportunity for a further conversation. I met a lot of really interesting people this way. I think the combination of proper grammar and politeness was the key to its effectiveness. You might give it a try. And yes, I think it should also work for women seeking men as well as same-sex interactions. Just 2 cents from an older, happily married guy concerned about our next generation's happiness and population replacement rates.
If anybody's wondering how I met my wife, I sent her memes about Joseph Stalin. So if the Bill Ackman method fails, just remember, you can send your future wife a meme about famine and starvation. It works every time.
So, like, weirdly enough, Bill Ackman was not joking when he tweeted that. And it's almost to the level of parody because people get advice that's just as stupid from their own parents, grandparents, older mentors, whoever, because they don't understand how effed our world is.
And you know what else Bill Ackman said right after this is, and if you want to find a job, you just go up to the head of the company and you give him a firm handshake and you hand him your resume.
On stock cards.
Yes, you have to have very nice resumes.
And very good handwritten resume gets them, you know, and you have to say shaken, not stirred. So a man shared his experience using Bill Ackman's pickup line in this tweet. He said, I read this tweet by Bill Ackman. The guy runs a hedge fund worth billions. He's got a wife and seems to have his life together, so I decided to give it a shot. Last night, I'm at this bar. I see a brunette near the dartboard. She had on a denim jacket, looked friendly enough. I thought, all right, this is my moment. I walked over, tried to look confident, and said, may I meet you? She just looked at me. Blank stare for like 3 full seconds. Then she absolutely lost her mind laughing. I mean, full on, can't breathe, tears in her eyes, laughing. Her 2 friends spun around and within seconds, they were all dying. One of them had to put her drink down because she was shaking too hard. And then the brunette repeated, may I meet you? Mimicking my voice, and they all cracked up again. I stood there like a complete idiot, said something like, never mind, and just walked back to my seat.
Well, that's the problem. You didn't follow through. You have to commit to the bit.
I will never listen to Bill Ackman again. Never taking advice from a boomer again. This shit doesn't work in 2025, and now here I am, same spot at the bar. Everyone has left at this point, drinking the same cheap beer by myself like always.
You gotta have the same amount of riz that Bill Ackman had when he was in his 20s.
Granted, this may be a fake story, so now we have a real video of someone using the Bill Ackman pickup line.
Excuse me. May I meet you?
Well, she's creating content. You can't interrupt her.
That's sacred
Bill
time.
Ackman suggested that we have a crisis of men unwilling to approach women and just suggested that I say, may I meet you? Okay.
I'm picturing the tripod that's set up for him, filming the tripod that's set up for her.
We're so lost.
Meet later.
I mean, maybe it was the Labubu.
Bill Ackman really fell through with that advice.
Gotta walk away nonchalantly with Riz.
That's okay. He did his best.
Yeah, he recovered better than this guy, the previous guy.
Drewish in the chat says that's Bill Ackman. Is that Bill Ackman? Is that what Bill Ackman looks like?
Is it?
I have no idea.
It was posted by a guy named Nick O'Neill.
Okay, well, he tried.
So I don't know.
Nick O'Neill, he tried.
Bill Ackman or Nick O'Neill. But yeah, we're kind of screwed. And you know what? I think it's okay. If people self-select out of the dating pool, out of the genetic pool as a result, you know, that's how things were going to shake out anyway. It's kind of, I don't believe in fate, but it is, in a sense, fateful. And if you are determined to not die alone, you will not listen to these people. And that's what was so illuminating about the conversation I had with the lady at Target yesterday, is that she was just, you know, very matter of fact about her situation.
Yeah.
And she said that even back then, and this was 20 years ago, even back then, she got a lot of pushback about being with a guy 7 years older than her. Well, look at her now. I mean, she's, what, 40? Her husband is 47?
Yeah.
Who literally cares? So, yeah, people need to put away their preconceived notions of what dating should look like in 2025.
Can't do it in today's day and age because of social media. You're going to get
You have to engage with yearning.
There you go.
And really, like, be a true yearner. Don't Zoomers always talk about that, about yearning?
I like the meme that says R&B fell off because dudes don't grab the air anymore.
Start grabbing the air.
Grab the air.
Yeah.
When you're singing. All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Corey Anderson said Dasha needs to sue for harassment and loss of wages.
I mean, he wasn't harassing her. He was harassing Gersh.
Right. Well, she could maybe sue Gersh for wrongful termination. I don't know if she would have much of a case, though, since they have total discretion over who they represent. But maybe she plans to do something like that. Shane H. Wilder said the dude complaining looks like the nerdy tattletale from the cartoon Recess, all grown up. Yeah, that kid really cemented in our minds like the true hall monitor stereotype. Corey Anderson said, you think any ERs had to remove Labubus from people?
Probably.
I would say no, but yeah, it just seems like something that would end up the New York Post or TMZ. Shane H. Wilder said, I went to the mall yesterday since there was no PCC just to window shop and kill time. The store was selling Labubus for $500. It's latarded. That's insane, actually, because they might have not even been real Labubus. They might have been the Lafufus that get, you know, they have super fakes of Labubus now. If it's real, you can't see which Labubu it is. That's the whole point. It's like gambling. Greg Duvier said, playing catch up with the live, but way to ruin the show, Brett. Without cute of the day, you have one job, but if the cringe is showing Zuckerberg failing, no cute is acceptable.
I have many jobs, actually.
It's more than just cute. Brian Bledsoe said, I check who sees my IG stories. Fafo taking my man card. I'm standing on business, LOL.
Bro, you don't need to do that. Let them look.
Yeah, you could just liberate yourself from caring who's watching your Instagram. Corey Anderson.
The only ones I know are whoever the first three are, because it shows up in like the little like graphic at the bottom, like who looked at it. I have a cousin who's been lurking for like I haven't talked to him.
They don't follow you? They're just
no, I'm saying we follow each other, I think, but he never posts, and he looks like he's always the first person to look because I see it down there in the bottom, and we haven't spoken in like a decade.
Corey Anderson.
That's like pro level lurking.
Said DJT's Quiet Piggy should be the new Crisis Party.
I saw that today. I haven't listened to it yet.
I did listen to it, and honestly, just because he was being asked about the Epstein files, I'm on her side. I'm on Piggy's side. He's like, that was just a cheap shot, and he's avoiding accountability and transparency, so he kind of looked like a fool. Drewish AF of Christendom said, show me on the Labubu doll where you got touched.
That'd be terrifying.
The Labubus hurt me.
Yeah.
In every place. Brian Bledsoe said, give me F1 and Days of Thunder collab.
Let's not. Look, I'll give them a pass on making the Days of Thunder sequel because they did so well with Maverick. But we don't need to build Tom Cruise action sports cinematic universe. We don't need to do that. Just
because he can doesn't mean he should.
Yeah, we spent so much time wondering if we could. We didn't stop to wonder if we should.
Corey Anderson said, I'm on Team Blake now. Male feminists are predators. I mean, oftentimes they are. At the very least, you know, the best of them are pathetic, and Justin Baldoni certainly fits into that category. Shane H. Wilder said more people might join their cult or religion if they promoted it more. Maybe get a sponsorship with Mountain Dew. It might be a Baha'i blast.
That's a good one.
That's clever.
That's good.
You have a marketing mind, sir. Rural Conservative said Shane H. Wilder for guest host. I mean, with zingers like that.
Yeah,
the
that's a good
competition
point.
is tough. Corey Anderson said, tip of the hat to you, Shane H. Masterclass Super Chat.
Indeed.
American Metal Mama said, poll question depends entirely on the situation. So the poll question today is, are you a hugger or handshaker? I wish that society could just come to an agreement about this, because I'm always miscalculating who's a hugger
Every time
or
you put out
handshaker.
the handshake, they go for a hug, and every time you go for the hug, they put out for the handshake.
So when I put out the handshake and the other person wants to hug, I feel like an asshole. When I reach for the hug and the other person wants the handshake, I feel creepy. There's no solution.
Can't win.
Can't win. Burned Oils said it's a mini game to make Mary say won't read that.
Somebody earlier said that you should super chat, like you should read all super chats, and then the person was responding to that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want me to read your super chat, don't send things that either violate my conscience or YouTube TOS. Genghis Khan of Gongolia said, my parents met at a college party. My mom tied my dad's shoelaces together, and he reacted by picking her up and throwing her in a snowbank. LOL. That's cute. I like that story. That's wholesome. No, people don't be doing that anymore.
We got a Rumble rant here from Elijah Flash. Says, who would have thought that Demolition Man would be right with contactless fornication? I'm going to go watch Demolition Man this weekend. There's a lot of movies. I've shown my wife so many TV shows. I need to start showing her more movies. But it ends up being one of those things where we feel like it's easier to commit to watch an episode of a television show, even though you don't end up watching one, you watch several, when really you could just watch a movie and it'd be the same length as the amount of television episodes you watch in a night.
Is that the only Rumble rant
That's the only one we got, yep.
Brian Bledsoe said, oh, come on, what did Megyn Kelly say? I don't know if we should even get into that.
You'd have to go to X to learn about that.
Yeah, I'm not even going to explain that. Easy-E said, bro got the girl and her friends laughing hysterically and still fumbles it. Come on, bro. Laughter is the easy mode cheat code.
He's right.
It depends if they're laughing with or at you, but I think if you're being laughed at, you can maybe salvage the situation. Yeah. He just gave up too quick. Stefan Buttle said, 12-year age gap for my parents. I have a half-brother that's 6 years younger than my mom. I have a niece that's like 8 years younger than me. I'm 34.
My brother and me are 7 years apart. He's 7 years older than me.
Inspector Gadget Forever said, you loved Sydney Sweeney when she refused to apologize to GQ. Then you mocked her when Christie bombed. We must see her movies to save Hollywood culture.
No. I don't
think we mocked her.
First of all, we didn't mock her when Christie
We just
bombed.
pointed out that it bombed.
Like that's the point. Is I don't take the side of any of these actors. When they do something good, you support it. When they fail, I guess you point that out too. And that's the whole point.
And we're not obligated to watch someone's movie just because, like, I don't know, they're a Republican.
If anything, I was like, somebody pointed out the Ruby Rose post to like who blamed Sydney Sweeney for her movie bombing. And I'm like, yeah, the only thing that stopped the obscure lesbian biopic about somebody that 90% of America hasn't heard of from making $1 billion was apparently Sydney Sweeney. Give me a break.
That was sour grapes because I think Ruby Rose said she was initially attached to the project, which means it would have bombed even worse.
Ruby Rose is so tiny, when she turns sideways, she disappears like a quarter that spins. She's
bulk up.
She's itty bitty.
But yeah, she's notoriously annoying. Let's end the poll. I want to...
Yep.
Is it majority handshakes?
53% say handshakes.
Okay, but this is the problem. It's so close to 50-50 that you never know what to expect meeting people now.
Yeah.
And it's like, I would say it definitely depends on the setting, but for a man in a professional setting to give a woman a handshake, I just imagine that feels ridiculous. I think that a professional hug certainly exists, and there is a context where it's appropriate.
I imagine that people that work, first, we don't work in like corporate America.
True.
So I think that the acceptable level of behavior in corporate America is very different.
Yeah.
I imagine that the girl bosses want to be treated just like the men, which means handshake.
Yeah, I feel a little bit ridiculous when I'm shaking hands in a work setting, but
do what I do. When me and my wife are sitting around, sometimes I'll just feel her pulse and it freaks her out. That's what I do.
What the hell? Why? Just to check that she's alive?
Just check she's alive.
That's nice.
She's like, why are you doing that?
That's
and
nice.
I say, like, look, I was just making sure.
Okay, I think we're all caught up on
Guys,
Super Chats.
we need a second crisis party before we go. That's what we need.
Okay.
They're saying there's no such thing as a business hug unless it's between opposite sex.
That's what I mean, though.
That's what she's talking about.
I think that professional hugs between men and women, like, there is a place for that. There's a time and place for it.
There you go.
Never bothered me personally.
I'm trying to think. So, yeah, like, I overanalyze my interactions, like when I do IRL with the guests and stuff like that. Like the way out, like the handshake or the side hug or the I do.
Weird.
It is what it is. There's a $2 from High Voltage 75 says, quiet, piggy.
Yeah, it's just like not... It's not the old Trump. It's not vintage Trump to me.
Nowadays, well, remember, guys were going to stop hugging because they didn't want to catch a case. So you had to give the fake hug where your arms just hover
Well, look,
there.
when I say professional hug, I'm not talking about people like embracing for a prolonged period of time. It's just like basically like doesn't take very long. No Control said men always shake hands with each other. Personal situations, women hug everyone. Professional men and women just don't touch. That's not true, though. That's not true.
The real question is, does it matter if, when I do handshakes, I do the handshake and then I put the other hand on top?
Okay, that's a little strange.
That's how I handshake.
We have a second party that should be coming in a minute here.
It will.
I do have to hightail it out of here, though.
Yep. Well, all right. Guys, before we go, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Remember to share the video with everybody in your life that you know and love and hate. The more people that you share it with, the faster this channel can grow. Mary, where can they find you?
One more from Brian Bledsoe. Just checked on X about Megyn Kelly and oh, okay. Yeah, we didn't want to get into that subject here. You guys should head over to castbrew.com, grab yourself a bag of Mary's Ghost Blend, my s'mores flavored coffee, if you have not done so already. You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived. And help me get TikTok famous. That is also Mary Archived.
Perfect. If you guys want to follow me, I am on Instagram and X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. We are here 5 days a week normally, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you'd like to listen rather than just watch this show, you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It's another great way to help the channel out. If you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at PopCulture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. There's a couple more there.
We got a 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. I was from a period that many times when I got introduced to an actress, I would get a hug. If I would run into her a second time, I would get a kiss on the cheek. Alcohol might be involved. Yeah, that's definitely different in Hollywood. I don't think they abide by most social decorum. Shane H. Wilder said, rule of thumb, handshakes for those you are just meeting, hugs for those you know if they are a hugger. I personally don't mind a hug, but some do. But then it's complicated because what if you are friends, you know someone online and you meet in person for the first time? It feels more appropriate to me that it would be like a quick hug. And then he said, Brett's not lying. That's how he shook my hand.
That's how I shake hands.
Hand over the hand.
Hand over the hand.
That's a power move.
It's like
right
paper,
there.
rock, scissors. It's like on top. All right, guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. You can stay tuned for a post-credit crisis party. See you in a second. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
The volume isn't even at top volume anymore. It's loud.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
See you tomorrow, guys.
Bye.